Welcome disc golfers to the Desert Fox disc golf course here at Paul B. Johnson State Park in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. This is hole 1. Plays right down along the lake. As you can see, way long is lake. Over here to the right is lake. This is a beautiful place to play disc golf. The wind is whipping today like it is a lot of times when you come out. If you've got a forehand, you'll be loving it. Got a low ceiling corridor, but pretty wide open for the most part till you get down around those trees on the left. There sits the basket right there. It's a good 30 feet from the water, I would say, usually, so you've got plenty of room to work a left to right shot. And hope to get on the dance floor for birdie. Hole 1. Over to hole 2, which is a short transition across the street. Calls for a different type of shot, more of a right to left, up through a very thin row of pine trees. Got 3 lined up nicely. You can play wide, skinny, or go straight at it. The basket plays uphill, 214 feet, the tee pad says. You've got road all the way down the left, which is out of bounds. You got to watch out for that, but other than that, looks like a nice gravy birdie. Should get you started off right. Okay, we're over here on hole 3 now. It's a really fun hole, straight down toward the lake. You've got some trees you've got to navigate through. There's the basket right there, nothing but water in the background. It's only 243, but mostly downhill, all downhill. So it don't take much to reach it. Preferred route is a right to left. You got a nice little path if you hang it out this way and then get it to slowly fade left without going too far. Otherwise you got to go straight at it. Now we move down to the green of hole 3 with the lake right behind it. Let's look back up at the tee pad of hole 3. As I said, you've got a nice little backhand hyzer, only a couple of trees you have to miss. Skip it right down through here. This is your preferred route. Okay, here it is, disc golfers. Voted one of your most terrifying holes online. I forget where that little website was. They had disc golf holes, but this was one of them. The Desert Fox hole number 4. Paul B. Johnson State Park. It's hard to exactly see where the water goes. This is all lily pads you're looking at. The island's really small now. Usually have more green to work with, but all the way behind it, not very far, 12 feet maybe. 20 feet in front. Got more room out to the left, closer to 30, 35 usually when it's drier. It's only 189 feet, the tee sign says, but I think it plays a little longer than that. Either way, with the water, it's very challenging. The wind's blowing, it scares you to death. All right, hole 5. It's a pretty fun hole. Got lake all the way down the left side, covering the entirety between you and the long pin sleeve, which is what I'm looking at there. There's no basket. Small green you have to get to. Preferred shot is the big right to left down this fairway. Normal basket sits right there. It's a really pretty shot, playing about like 380 feet or so. Okay, we're now getting over to the real juicy part of the course, right along the lake. We've got some holes where the splashing is almost inevitable. This is 249 feet. You've got lake all the way down the left, wrapping around the back side of the basket is all lake. Zooming into the top of it right there. It's on a really fast green. All you can see is air and water behind the bucket. Now down here on the green, you can see just how quickly the disc can get away from you into the water. We're looking behind the basket. This is over to the left side when you're standing on the tee box, panning around. You can see the water goes all the way down over here too, so you can't go long on this drive. Alright, disc golfers, this is a really fun hole for you. This is hole 7, 246 feet, going over nothing but water. This is lily pads you see in front of you. The water's edge goes all the way around there, swoops over toward the basket. You've got 40 feet on the other side of the water to get to the basket over there. It's not a very hard hole. There is an out of bounds road down the right side you can just see the top of. 246 feet. If you're right-handed, the forehand is the preferred shot. Got nothing between you and the basket if you've got the forehand. Now we've moved over to 12's tee box. No real water in play here. Nothing too exciting. It's about a 300-foot, slightly uphill shot. Basket sits on a very fast green. The downside, on the back side of the basket, is downhill to the water. You've got a road that goes down the left side all the way that you can see that car traveling on. Only a couple trees in play down by the bucket. Mostly open, 300 foot straight away. Hole 12. Alright, we're down at the basket now on hole 12. You can see behind it, it's pretty quick downhill, straight to the water. You've got 45, 50 feet, but once it gets rolling, it's probably not going to stop. There's the road out of bounds, so we pan back toward the tee. You can see there's just one little thin pine tree that really guards the basket and this really big oak on the far side, but it's mostly open. This is hole 13. Pretty much gravy hole. Not much in between you and the basket. You got this tiny little sapling, easily missed. Basket sits up on the mound, which always makes putting exciting, especially when we get that famous Paul B. Johnson wind going. You got trees down the right side where you can't play a big right to left without getting lucky. Pretty much want to throw straight at it. You've got out of bounds down the left, the road, that parking lot that sticks in toward the basket comes into play. Other than that, there's not much to it. Should yield a birdie. 220 feet away, number 13. We're now standing on the tee box of what will be temp hole 1 for the Lakeside Challenge. Plays right after the mound hole. You will cross the street. You'll tee from right here between the flags. Playing down this narrow strip of land is your fairway. The road to the right is out of bounds. There's a creek that plays from behind the basket. You can see the drainage pipe right there behind the shovel. The shovel's marking where the basket will be. The creek comes out of that drainage ditch and then comes into the woods over this way and plays almost the length of the fairway down into the woods. So if you hyzer out to the left too far, you're out of bounds. If you stay to the right too much, you're out of bounds. It's a nice little island fairway. It's playing about 290 feet or so. Hopefully it won't be windy that day, otherwise that's going to make for a tough hole. This is temp hole 1. We're now standing down on the green of what will be the temp hole number 1, the Lakeside Challenge. You've got a very thin fairway between the road and the woods. This is the tee pad for hole 14 at Paul B. Johnson. It's mostly a mid-range shot going right down through this alley. You want to aim at that big oak tree and get it to break just left. The basket sits around the corner. We're now standing by that giant oak tree that I said to aim at in the earlier clip. Looking at the basket and the green of hole 14 and back to the tee pad. We now stand on the tee box of temp hole 2, playing at the Lakeside Challenge. It's going to be a low ceiling. You've got 3 guardian oak trees, thick woods on the right, forcing you to play a low ceiling left to right finishing shot. If you've got a forehand, that'll be the preferred. Now we're down in the fairway looking back at the tee. You see it's right back in that shadow of the big oak. This is the preferred fairway right here through these two guardian oaks, a forehand S-curve. If you're right-handed, of course, left to right. Working out past these oaks, swinging around. The basket's going to sit just in front of this tree. All right, we're now standing on the green of what will be temp hole 3. As you see, you've got a nice open putting green. The hole is going to be 402 feet. Pretty flat fairway all the way back there to where this shovel is sticking up with a hat on top. It's a wide open bomb. Be a great shot for a roller except for the little scrub brush areas. Now we stand on the tee pad of hole 15. It's a pretty straight shot. You've got trees in the way, which makes you shape your drive, either right to left or left to right. You've got a big forehand route through here if you've got a 330-foot forehand, or you can risk going right up the gut through the trees with a backhand. It's 324 feet. Okay, we're now on the 4th temp hole for the Lakeside Challenge. It plays from the Paul B. Johnson Desert Fox course number 16's Pro Pad. Right out beyond these oak trees into the open field where that shovel is sticking up out of the sleeve. As you can see, you've got a really open fairway. You've just got trees halfway down. You've got a miss. Some thicker ones on the left than on the right. Ideal shot is to hug these on the right side with a backhand hyzer, mid-range. The hole plays 273 feet, right out to that open area. Should yield a fairly easy birdie. This is temp hole number 4. We now stand on the tee pad of temp hole 5. It's going to play about 310 feet in a wide open field. You've only got one tree. A small sapling right here that's in between you and the bucket. The basket will play right down there where those post hole diggers and the towel sits. Again, it's wide open shot. You've got a man-made creek all the way down the left side, which will be out of bounds. That's the road for the campers. Other than that, it's pretty much a gravy hole. If you've got the arm to get there, you should have a putt for birdie. Now we stand on the tee pad of 17. It's the AM tee. See the basket straight ahead right there into that row of trees. You got to play something pretty straight that just brings a little right, preferably a forehand if you got it. Right down through that way, playing a slight left to right. There is the big hyzer skip shot if you can keep it underneath the pine limbs. Go all the way around. It's a fun hole. 280. One you could definitely ace, should absolutely birdie. It's a beautiful hole. If you look up, you see the lake in the background. A pretty windy day at Paul B. You can see the limbs are blowing all over the place. It tends to get that way out here sometimes. Makes for fun disc golf day. Okay, disc golfers, we're on to hole 18. It's a beautiful finishing hole, 297 feet, slightly uphill. Got some parking lot and area over to the left OB, but it really doesn't come into play. What really comes into play is behind the basket is the big parking lot. You can see it up there. Plays long for 300 feet. Got a couple different options off the tee. You can go right or left of that giant pine tree. There are a couple small river birch waiting to catch you after that. One left and one over here to the right. Got to miss those and usually get a little bit of skip to get there just because it is so uphill. It's a great finishing hole, one that you could birdie, but you're going to have to throw a great drive to get that stroke back on the last hole. Makes for an exciting finish, especially when that wind is whipping. Hole 18, Desert Fox.